Hey everybody, welcome to another live stream. This is like 2 in a row, so back to back. This is kind of going to be a test, but I also do have a topic that I'm going to hit tonight, talking about setting boundaries and how important it is to do that and to be deliberate in what you do and understand the consequences and whatnot. If things, or when you have to start mashing the button on that. Also, I have a backup camera angle, so if things go south, I'll still be able to hopefully have a camera. Anyways, so on that, let me just get my screens all set up correctly. Hopefully everybody got the text notification. If you are, let me click over here. If you want to sign up for the text notification, excuse me, you can do that by texting DSDLIVE to 844-598-0012. That's DSDLIVE, all one word, to the phone number 844-598-0012. And that will add you on to the SMS notification list, which I did send one out tonight, that whenever I'm doing stuff, you will be notified with the link and hopefully be able to jump on and catch it. So, yeah, so at least that still works. Now I have to get my screen back to where I was. So let me get to the right thing, to my notes, so that I can cover that. Boundaries, setting boundaries. Boundaries is like the Achilles heel for a toxic, narcissistic person. And unfortunately, when you set a boundary, it oftentimes sets up a, what's the word I'm looking for? A challenge for them, because when you set something as a boundary or you establish a boundary, they are going to do everything in their power to push it, to try to ensure that you are not really going to enforce the boundary. This is also a reason why if you go back with somebody after they push the boundary and you've had a separation or a breakup, and you get back into a relationship with them, they generally will be a lot worse than what they were before. So toxic people and children will push your buttons, will try to evoke a reaction. Now, obviously, there's a little bit difference between adults and children. What I will say with specifically toxic exes, excuse me, they're doing it to try to evoke a reaction out of you and get you to, like we talked about even yesterday, to further their narrative. Children, on the other hand, sometimes will push it. Now, sometimes it's that. Sometimes they just buy into the whole thing. Other times it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, excuse me, in my situation, it'd be like, oh, your dad's so angry and mean. So the kids will do something to try to see if I'm angry and mean, or your dad only cares about this, that, or the other thing. I'm just using me as an example in this particular scenario, but it's more of to prove their point, right? It's more the kids have an idea of what they're being told and they want to see if it's legit. So they'll take their bony little finger and go boop right in your eye to see what you do. It's hard. It's really hard. So hold on one second. Anyways, the next thing on this, you gotta be selective on where you draw the line. And what I mean by that, what I'm saying in that, is you can turn around and you can sit there and you can say, I'm going to set a boundary and it's going to be 100% firm, and it needs to be. But also at the same time, you have to make sure that you're picking realistic boundaries. I was chatting with an individual, maybe they'll be on later tonight, I'm not sure. And they were talking about their kid threatening to, throw drinks at them and do stuff like that. you have to, I mean, there's certain things you absolutely need to set a line or, a boundary on, and that would be the case. In that particular scenario, see, it's tough. And I have another friend of mine in real life who was dealing with this, where he was having a harder time with his older child, almost to the point where they were getting into physical fights. And he finally, in that scenario, said, look, you are not bringing your chaos into my world. When you're ready to stop doing that, let me know. And what he did is he put a boundary up. He wouldn't allow his kid to come over to his house. It's like a 50-50 custody thing. And just basically set that up. Obviously that's a huge wedge issue. His ex was absolutely attempting to light everything on fire. And after a few months, the kid basically re-engaged with him. They were able to reset, and things are okay now. Now, the caveat on that, what I want to say is he kind of felt that this is probably how it would go. What I mean by it is he knew how his ex reacted and did things, knew that she would basically fall apart having him 100% of the time, and knew it would just be a matter of time before the chaos would bubble to a head to affect a positive change. The reason I say that is, like in my scenario, I think if I would have done that, excuse me, I think probably what would have happened is, in my situation, very covert, and I think what would have happened is they would have just written me off, right? I mean, the kids would have just basically, I would have been out of sight, out of mind, and it wouldn't, 20 years later, maybe we'd had a conversation. So all of this is very unique to whatever your specific scenario and situation is. And as a result of that, there are some broad advice and broad terms that you can look at, but at the end of the day, you're really going to have to look at your own situation, the relationship with your children, if you're talking about children, the relationship with whoever the adult might be, and what you really think or believe that they are willing and or capable of doing. Now, if that made sense, let me know. And then the next bullet is be prepared to follow through. What I mean by that is, if you set a boundary, if you say this is unacceptable, this behavior is not going to happen, or not that it's not going to happen, but I am not going to just be a punching bag, or however you want to say it. And if you say that, whatever the thing is, you do this, I'm taking away your Xbox, then fine, you have to do it. If it's like, if you're going to lash out and do behaviors that are absolutely unacceptable or destructive or violent, then if you're saying that the consequence is you are not allowed, you are not welcome in this house until that's resolved, you need to be able to follow through with it. The worst thing you can do, again, double binds, right? But one of the worst things you can do in this situation is to set a boundary with a consequence and then not follow through with it, because it just proves that that they can get away with things, and it'll just make things a lot worse. And that I kind of hit this, but to summarize with the last bullet item on the setting the boundaries is you have to give yourself wiggle room, especially with your kids. You don't necessarily have to give yourself wiggle room with a toxic ex. You do still need to pick your battle, right? It's like, is the boundary or the battle that you're willing to have, is it really worth the fight? And is it going to move the needle to what your ultimate goal really is? Okay, that's for the adults. On kids, what I really mean by that is, like, for instance, and I know I've had videos where I've talked about this before when my kids were younger, if you're going to do something and if you do this, you're grounded. Well, don't do a 100% all or nothing. We are not in the situation that we are with the other person and, you are a united front. You are not. Anything you do is absolutely going to be used against you and weaponized. So what you have to do, for instance, what I'm getting at is like, let's say you decide, okay, you are grounded from having your phone, whatever. You don't get your phone for a week or 5 days or whatever. One, again, be prepared to follow through. Like I was talking about, be prepared for following through, and and you have to stick with that. And they're going to try to negotiate, especially with your kids. They will try to negotiate like, hey, okay, I get it. Can it be, instead of 2 days, can it be 15 minutes? That type of thing. But what I mean by wiggle room is you need to have something else that you can do with your kids, because you basically or effectively have to play good and bad cop at the same time. And if you have a 100%, boom, you are grounded from your room, and all we're going to do is we're going to slide a piece of cheese underneath your door. Well, that's not going to help you. Ground them on one thing and say, well, you're not, you haven't been grounded from us watching a movie. So let's make some popcorn, watch some movie and whatever. I mean, I know it's kind of weird, but you have to do that so that you don't set yourself up and you don't fall into your own trap. What a toxic ex is hoping that you are going to do, what they're hoping you're going to do, is do this 100% all or nothing thing. And then they can play on the fact that, oh, it's so sad that your dad or your mom is just so angry and doesn't understand you. And, it's only their way. It's my way or the highway, that type of thing. Give yourself an opportunity, an option to where you still have something that you can do. Now, granted, if the kid's physically fighting with you and stuff like that, that makes it a little more complicated. I think a lot of times on that, though, if you understand that you're being baited, you understand that your ex is trying to create a wedge issue, then there are some things you can do to try to mitigate it. But oftentimes the kids are going to go ahead and double, triple, quadruple down and basically make a situation where you're going to have to stand up. Now, make sure you don't do anything that gets you in trouble or in jail or whatever. And obviously, you have to be careful that that your ex is going to try to light the relationship on fire. And, if you, like in that scenario I was telling you, I mean, the guy, when he made that decision, he effectively was ready to like, okay, I can't have this chaos in my life anymore, in my house. I have to stop it. If I've lost with the older kid, maybe I can still be successful with the younger kid. Within, oh my God, what was it? 6 months, maybe 6 months, he was able to turn everything around, and the relationships have repaired themselves and things are going a lot better. And let me hit the marker. And on that, excuse me. So let me jump into the chat and see how everyone's going. Hopefully, let me know what you think of that discussion. I probably also need to ask if what kind of tempo, what kind of schedule do you want me to try to hit for on this? Now, I will say this: for the most part, weekends are going to be tough, because my goal has been, even though I haven't been able to do it in the last few, is to be out on a mountaintop or in the desert somewhere out in nature, near a campfire, either by myself or with a couple of folks, which means I won't be able to do some of these things. So, but on that, all right, let's see. We got iTumbler says hello to you, iTumblers. John Boston in the house. Thank you so much for that. The Wise Chat Manager, I had posted earlier that I was trying to finalize things. He says, finalize, is that an Apple thing? No, actually, it was a hot chocolate thing. So I was trying to finish that and not burn myself. And backup camera. Yes, sir, I do. I do have a backup camera just in case my interface decides to foobar like it did yesterday. I was so frustrated with that. I know a lot of you guys were too, because I could tell the numbers had just started jumping. It's like I peaked as my technology completely failed, and then the numbers crashed. It's pretty funny. So not funny. It was just, it's ironic. It's ironic. Mary says hello. Hello to you, Mary. Tiffany says greetings. Greetings to you. We're going to have to meet back up on Fortnite again. We haven't done that in a couple of weeks now, I think. For longtime listeners, viewers of the show, probably a year ago, I had a thing where I shared out my my gamer tag to play with some people, and I have had an opportunity to do that. That was pretty fun. So let's see. Dan Ski, haven't seen you in a while, says, hello, Duane and group. Wanted to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir. I'm very thankful for Duane and this group. Please take care of yourselves. There is light. Don't ever give up. Thank you so much for saying that, Dan. It's, I'm trying to keep things in a positive way, right? I mean, I've really kind of pivoted over the last few years on the way I communicate stuff. However, this is a very tough topic. It's not fun. It's not games. It's not, it's very serious and it's very devastating. My goal into changing the approach of my communications is to hopefully demonstrate from my first 4 or 5 years of videos, my legacy videos on here, that you can see the transition from, dark days into better days into, yes, this stuff still continues. There's still crap going on, but I have had a massive perspective shift in the way I look at things and what I allow to negatively affect me. Don't get me wrong. There are still some things that happen that do make for some rough times and rough days, but overall, as Dan Ski was saying, let me put it back up on the screen. There is light. Don't ever give up. So Wise concurred with that and says, so true, Dan. It's just one heck of a process to go through. That's like the understatement of the year, I would say. Wow. Tiffany celebrates 37 months of memberships. Hit that like button. Yeah, if you're new to this channel's been around for a while. And I do really appreciate the channel members. I don't know if my channel member thing is going to work today, my button. I'm still trying to get everything figured back out. What I will say, just as a reminder, is I had this genius idea to refresh my computer, meaning to reformat the hard drive and start over from scratch, give myself a clean install, which is great. It's a great idea. Unless you forget to back up your live streaming configuration files and you lose everything in the process and you have to rebuild it. Yeah, that's what I did. It was genius. Genius move. If you guys want to get my attention, and I see a few people doing it, just make sure you do @DSD. It highlights, and on another window, it'll highlight the comment. And if you have a question or a specific topic you would like me to address, just put a Q in front of it or say questions so that I know what I'm looking for. Oh, Tiffany says I got the final decision paperwork from the Fair Hearing Board. What was the answer? I'm trying to see if you say what the answer was. Holiday. Yeah, so I'm hoping, I'm sure probably on the Discord you've said it and I just haven't been able to get on there lately. I'm having button issues here. So yeah, Tiffany, if you could elaborate on that, I appreciate it. 11 Kids, haven't seen you in a while, says, hit the like button. Yes, please. Do all the stuff that YouTube appreciates and helps to trigger the system that you guys like this content and support the channel. I appreciate it. No, Anonymous 228 1 kilo says, or 2281 kilo. Narcissists shouldn't be parents. Oh my God, that is so freaking true. If I had a button for that, I would push it. I'm sure I have one. I just don't know what my other buttons are programmed for, like this one. Okay, that's doing nothing. Oh, it did do something. Yeah, anyways, I have this stuff programmed for something. Sorry about that. my ADHD, I guess, kicked in and I started playing with buttons. And the other flip side to it is that it has pretty little lights on it. So when you push it, they light up red and purple and stuff like that. Anyways. Y says, at DSD, we talk and came to an agreement as a community that we need hourly updates. Yeah, I'd love to, man. Actually, I would like to get back into, I would like to do more reoccurring. I'd love to do the morning radio show thing again. It's just, I don't know. I'll have to look at that. That might be something. That was kind of fun to meet up every day with everyone in the morning, start the day off, have a call-in show with guests for an hour, then, run off to work. It's just, obviously some things, that's a major commitment. It's a little easier during all the lockdowns whenever I had an opportunity to, work from home. So literally I just do this and then like roll right into my work day. But when you physically end up going in, it complicates things. But thanks for that suggestion. Ted says, I'm at the point of calling the police. I think you're talking about your kid. I'm not entirely sure I would do that. But what I would say is if you are working with a therapist, get some advice from them on what to do. Maybe even the school psychologist, because once you start doing that, it starts getting complicated. And the reality is, in my opinion, your ex is absolutely trying to drive a wedge between you and your child, trying to basically light everything on fire to facilitate the relationship basically exploding and blowing apart at the seams. So, you got to be very, like when I was talking about in the earlier slides, you got to be very deliberate, focused, targeted. I didn't say it that way, but that's what I was saying, on how you respond and what you and how your next course of action. So, Tumblr says, I say Tuesdays are great. Yeah, I think even that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that maybe one day a week might be a good entry point, and just kind of do that and have it be during the week, because I know I could potentially do that. I don't have any young kids anymore. I have more flexibility time-wise. Tuesdays aren't super great because that's one of my days I do my coaching calls. So the schedule's a little more complicated because I go from work and then I have if they're scheduled, I have coaching calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I was thinking like maybe Monday or Wednesday. Anonymous 2281 Kilo says they do so much damage, especially when you're also trapped and can't leave. Yes, and if you can leave, but you have children and they have that connection back to you, they can still do a tremendous amount of damage because you can't physically separate and go complete no contact, because they always have that reach back to pull you back in. Now, excuse me, if you're in a situation where you're still living with them, obviously that complicates things and makes it even much harder. So Tiffany says, yes, the Knight of Fort beckons. Oh, I don't know if I said that, but that's pretty much the only game I play. My kids give me crap that I don't have an Xbox. I just have a Fortnite machine because that's the only thing I play. And I didn't play that when it first came out. I thought it sounded stupid. And then just, trying to do stuff with my kids, they're like, oh, let's play around, let's play Fortnite. I'm like, all right, fine, we'll do it, fine. And I played it and I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of fun. So Fortnite is kind of my decompress thing. I'll play it, if I'm really frustrated or stressed, I can play it. Kind of gets my mind off things. I'll play a round or two. And yeah, so, personally, I think I'd rather go sit on the side of a mountain with a nice campfire. But you can't always do that. So, oh, nice. Okay. Tiffany says, DSD, they sided with me and oh, Jesus. They sided with me and reversed the neglect support decision. Thank freaking God. I'm going to do that again because that is just Thank you. I know, Tiffany, you have been just run through the ringer, and that is outstanding news. So thanks for sharing that. I'm super happy for you. Soldier of the USA says, hi. Well, hello to you, sir. The Wise Chat Manager says, anyone have any suggestions for undoing clutter? I know, that's a good point. I know it's a thing after narc abuse. I'm slowly making headway, but I need to do more. Sir, I am absolutely struggling with this. I think the only non-cluttered part in my house is this set. And the crazy part is, let's see here, where am I at? You go below this little line here. I don't want you to see that. And I don't want you to see over there. You know, I mean, I am in a situation in my house that I do not like. It's got a lot of clutter, and I'm been struggling with a little bit of depression and whatnot, which is complicating things. But I think what the main thing on that, the Wise Chat Manager, is to slowly pick something and do that. What I mean is, it's like, okay, I'm going to clean my kitchen, right? Or hell, it might even just be, I'm going to unclutter the stove. I'm going to clean the stove up, get all the stuff off of it, clean it up. I don't know. I'm just throwing out an example. And get it nice so that whenever you walk by and you see it, you feel that positive, from decluttering that area, and then use that momentum to move on to another area, what I'm going to attempt to do, or what I've tried to do, I've only been able to do it once in like the last few weeks, especially since it's just me now. My trash can's not really full. I'm like, all right, trash day. I am going to hopefully the day before, I'm going to go through and fill it up with as much junk that needs to go away as possible to start purging stuff. And I did that a few weeks ago. I did it in my pantry in the kitchen, and it was a lot of stuff, that had expired in 2014, but I was able to go through that. Now that one wasn't probably as smart of an option, just because it's not out in the open. So it's not one of those solutions that I see every day, like the kitchen thing, like when I do the stove and everything, and you get up in the morning, you're doing your thing, and you're like, wow, that doesn't look bad. I've made some progress, then not getting all the dishes put away and everything like that. So I don't know. Wise, let me know what you think about that. Oh, Tiffany said to the Wise Chat Manager, get a friend to help. They are emotionally detached to your things. That's a great idea. I think part of the issue with that, at least for me, I don't want anybody in my house right now. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, I'd like to have you guys all think that everything is just butterflies and rainbows, but the reality is it's not. And I guess so. Here's the thing. I think that's another example, just to kind of show that there's still lingering effects from this for me. This isn't all just a bowl full of rainbows. Every day isn't a holiday. It's there's still some stuff going on, and I kind of alluded to that the other day. And as things progress and I'm more able to speak about it, I will. Let's see. Tiffany went on to say, DSD CPS is still coming after me and forced me to sign a family service plan while we were waiting for the decision. Okay, but now that the decision is done, are they going to back off, Tiffany? Or are they treating it like, well, okay, fine, but now we have to still do this other thing? I'm curious what you think about that. The Wise Chat Manager says, problem with those plans is if they claim you violated it, kind of a catch-22. The problem with those plans is then they can claim you violated it. Oh, with the family service plan. Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good point. Laura Park says, purge clothes. I am in the process of doing that. Linens, pantry, kitchen, and replace it. Yeah, I think back when I moved into this place, and I had nothing. You guys remember that meme of the girl who said all she wanted was Wingstop? And it was like, what have you had? I've had nothing. Nothing. I don't know if you've seen that. I saw that on a YouTube short. Anyways, however, when I moved into this place, I had nothing. I mean, I literally had like a suitcase. I ended up picking up a bed. The person who rented me the house, when I told him I had nothing, was like, do you even have a bed? I'm like, I have a sleeping bag. And they ended up selling me. Actually, this is still the bed I'm using right now. And now there's so much garbage in this house. I long for the days that I could basically put everything in the back of my truck and GTFO. And I know that's unrealistic. I mean, I know that I won't ever really be able to get down to that point again, but I would really like to get close. So, but I need to start working on that. I love this. Reinvent yourself and your space. Outstanding. Yeah, that's a great idea. Heather says, I just got a storage unit for all the paperwork court to feel a little decluttered and keep it out of my house. Not a bad idea. Oh, you know what? Let me hit a marker on this. Heather, you brought up a great point, and I would highly encourage people save paperwork. I don't care if you scan it or whatever. And I'll tell you this current situation, and I'll allude to the current situation I'm dealing with. I thought when this whole thing happened and I got the knock at the door and the paperwork given to me, I kind of freaked because I'm like, oh my God, I need this paperwork that was sent to me years ago to prove my side of this. And I'm like, oh my God, did I shred it? And I actually waited a few days before I started looking because I was just dreading the fact that I didn't have it. So I went through the piles, started going through, not there, not there, not there. And it was crazy. I actually ended up on my safe. I have not a big, but I got a gun safe, fire safe thing. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start going through this and see, maybe it's there. And the first thing I grabbed was this packet, and it was exactly what I was looking for. And I was like, oh, thank God. So make sure you keep information. Make sure that you do not use your email as a long-term storage solution, even though that did help me too, because I was able to find stuff. But I would have been much better served if I would have made those emails as PDFs and separated them and had them readily accessible. So I had to go through and I had to search for years on emails looking for some interactions I knew were there to get the receipt, so to speak, on that. Now, had I had, I should have also saved text messages and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is that you don't necessarily have to look through it, but come up with a storage solution. Easy for me to say, storage solution to where if 5 or 10 years down the road you need something, you have access to it. Don't ever get rid of it. I remember talking to my dad at one point where he held on to his divorce paperwork. And like I'm doing too, I have a whole file of everything that was filed for the divorce. If it ever comes up and the kids need it or something like, or want to see it or have a question, whatever. And I was talking to my dad and he was like, at some point he just got rid of it. And I mean, I think at some point you do kind of reach the point that there's no legit, there's no reason for it. But man, if you can hold on to it or scan it, have some type of copy, I think I would highly encourage that. I know I kind of went long-winded on that, so curious what you guys think about that as well. Tiffany says they are leading with different issues than dental. Now they're claiming the same crap from 2022. Man, it's amazing, right? Sometimes these people, they latch onto something as you being the bad guy, and they just won't let go. I'm sorry you're going through that, Tiff. So iTumbler says to me and Tiffany, never sign anything from CPS. Make sure you have an attorney representing you and talking for you to them. I wish, man. I know iTumblers, you mentioned the other day about, make sure you always have a contingency fund. And I kind of wish I had one myself right now. And, so it's pretty tough. Tiffany, DSD, a book. Oh, I thought you were saying I should write a book, but look up what's a disorganized person to do. Hey, Tiff, are you saying that is actually a book? I'm going to see if I can look that up. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to Amazon.com. What's a disorganized person to do? Hey, it looks like a book. Hey, there you go. Is that the one you're talking about right there? That one? I might have to I might have to add that onto my list. Where's the, all right, hold on. Let me do this. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to add it to my cart so I don't lose it. And hopefully I'm not doxing myself in the process, having you guys watch me do my Amazon shopping. So that's pretty funny. All right. Thanks for that recommendation, Tiffany. I appreciate it. Laura says, I created court medical-like charts divided by visitation, custody, support, protective orders, and violations. Good idea. Yeah, I mean, being organized on it is good. And then just, I don't want to say set it and forget it, but, file it and then just, know you have it. Oh, speaking back on that email thing, I had I think my Yahoo email, which is my primary one, I had everything there, and then there was something happened at one point, and I lost years of emails. So all the stuff during the divorce, well, not all of it, but a majority of the emails that were back and forth, those narratives and diatribes that were going back and forth, I ended up losing. There's one I really wish I would have kept or could have kept, because early on, the ex, for me, accused me of something. And I don't know if it was misogyny or narcissism or whatever it was. And at the time, I was like, whatever, and I didn't even think about it. But I really kind of wish I still had that, because I'd like to revisit that. Jonathan says, do narcs know? Oh, this question. Do narcs know that? Okay, let me try it again. Do narcs know they are doing harm to others, especially kids? Do they have the awareness that their actions and behaviors affect others? And if not, how do we empathize with them? I've got court on Monday. Okay, so this is a multi-part question. What I will say just right off the top, my opinion on this is that a toxic narcissistic person is emotionally delayed and is operating at a very young level, like 10 years old, 12 years old, whatever. So you're dealing with somebody who doesn't have the emotional maturity or the empathy to understand what they're doing and the effect it's having on everyone else. They only are focused, like a kid, kids focused on themselves. They're focused on their needs, their wants, and they don't really have the ability to understand how their actions and decisions are negatively affecting everyone else. Now, the difference with children, with a 10-year-old, is it's real easy to flick them up, put them over your shoulder, take them to their room, and ground them and have a consequence. When they're a 45-year-old adult, you'll go to jail if you do that. Okay, so that's the first thing. And the reality is their motivation is really, it doesn't matter. Just focus on the fact that they're doing it, right? And you got to be careful, because you can easily, Jonathan, get into that mode to where you're trying to rationalize or ruminate about why. Why are they doing this? What has happened? What have I done that's so horrible? What delusion are they living in to say these things and make these accusations? Who are they listening to? We talked briefly about that yesterday. The reality is focus on the effect of what their behaviors and their actions are doing. So it doesn't matter if they have the awareness, because they're not going to change. Now, when you say, how do we empathize with them? It's hard to let me try that one more time. It is hard to empathize with somebody who is so destructive. With time, you will be able to have some pity for them for the fact that they are trapped in this mode with no ability to escape. Now, when you say you got court on Monday, what I would say, let me see if I can pull this up. Let me go here, try to go to my channel. And if you, let's see how this works. If you scroll down on my channel and you go down to, where is it? Interviews, expert interviews. Scroll over here. Wow, I look so weird without a beard. This one right here, interview with Cordell and Cordell Law Firm. He talked specifically in that video, and that's an old video. That's 6 years old. That's one of like the second interview I ever did. First one was with Alex. That's the first interview I ever did was with Alex. And oh wow, I did do one with Angie too. I did a couple with Angie Atkinson. Older people who've been around a while on this platform will recognize her. Anyways, I digress. That interview with Cordell and Cordell, he talks about how you need to basically, you have to present in a way like, oh, I'm concerned. All I want is, you know, for the kids to have a great relationship with their mom or their dad or whatever it is, which is funny because that's exactly what my ex used to say. It's like you almost have to take a page out of their playbook, and you want to make sure that you're coming across appropriately so that you don't hurt yourself in court. So I would check out that video. There's another one. I can't remember what I talked with Christine Gilly. I'd also recommend you look at that one. If you're representing yourself, absolutely look at Alex Falcone's channel, The Proper Person, because he has a lot of stuff about how the process works, especially if you're representing yourself, which I haven't been completely binge watching, but I've been watching a lot of his videos getting ready for my current situation. Old Shawnee Road. Oh my God. Hey man, hopefully you're doing well. I was just thinking about you the other day. I was kind of thinking that probably since I haven't seen you around, that you hopefully are doing really well. And I hope that is the case, man. Tiffany says, DSD, the 9-page decision noted 2 times. Okay, hold on. 2X51A child abuse reports against dad, but CPS found mom neglectful both times, unsubstantiated when it came to dad. That's just horrible. That's annoying. So I think to summarize, if people aren't familiar with this, what they're saying is that the document just came out is saying, you know, they are recognizing problems with the dad, but CPS, for whatever reason, is in Camp Dad in her particular situation. So it's just, you know, frustrating. David says narcs care more about winning by any means necessary rather than what's best for the actual children. Oh yeah, absolutely. Geez, I mean that's even, you know, I mentioned this the other day, the Dan Markel delete trial with Charlie Alderson and that whole thing. And John Steinbeck is a buddy of mine who runs the Brainwashing Children. His brother is an attorney, and his channel has freaking exploded covering this trial. And it's just so, you know, I mean, it's because it, how am I trying to say this? It was it's interesting because I was, you know, listening to part of the trial now. I mean, you know, they convicted Charlie, who's the ex-brother-in-law, the victim. They just arrested the mother-in-law for murder. And it looks like there's a good chance they're going to arrest the ex-wife That hasn't happened yet, but it looks like it's getting ready to happen. And the whole thing on this is they got divorced. She wanted to move back to the family. The court said nope. So they basically hired a couple people to take him out, and they did. They followed him around. Basically, when he went home, followed him, pulled up in the driveway, bang, bang, got in their cars and left. And now everyone's been, I think Charlie, is the fourth person that's been convicted of murder on this, and they weren't thinking of the best thing. I mean, this is the worst case scenario for the kids. They only were thinking about themselves. Excuse me. Old Johnny Rose says Cordell and Cordell interview was a very good video. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Laura says, this is spot on. Non-emotional, matter of fact in court. Absolutely. Yeah. And just to be clear, you absolutely do not want to go in there. Do not make faces at the other person. Try to act as calm and professional as possible. Because your body language, the way you react, the way you respond can definitely have an effect. Let's see. Old Johnny Rose says, doing very, very well. Outstanding. Eldest daughter just bought herself a car. Wow, dude, it has been a while since we talked because they were little, they were not driving age. She's over the moon at driving her sister and I around in her car. Almost seems like she can't wait. That's awesome, man. I'm going to do this. Yet another example of somebody who has been in the trenches on this for years. He's Old Shiny Road's an early subscriber of this channel. And we definitely had lots of conversations back in the day when he was going through his situation about the specifics and there is another side of this. You just have to make sure that you maintain a relationship with your kids, minimize the damage, mitigate the damage, and most of the time you can prevail. It's not easy. Absolutely not easy. Oh, you actually continued on to say, can't wait to be able to leave the ex's house. Oh, wow. Oh, cool. So the kids are finally like, okay, yeah, I want to live in my own place. Tiffany says, I'm writing a screenplay. My life is a Lifetime movie starring me. Yeah, like at least you said a Lifetime movie, which those are pretty tragic too, as opposed to the Twilight Zone episode. Living Legend says, is this live? Yes, sir, it is live. So thanks for jumping in. Old Johnny Rose says, in debt up to my ears with child support, but the relationship with the girls is more important. When you say up to your ears, do you mean you are in arrears, or do you just, it's just killing you? Because it sure was killing me for the longest amount of time. Hard to believe that I'm done, that all my kids are over 18 now. And speaking of that, on my, let's see, how do I pull this up? Oh, wow, okay. So that's interesting. Dusty Road. I don't know why I'm okay. That didn't work. There we go. So let me go back here. So on my other channel, I have my truck, and I had I did pick up an awning. I was able to take advantage of one of the Black Friday sales. A little bit of retail therapy that I shouldn't have done to help me. This is not doing what I wanted to do, but anyways, and as a result, I was trying to put it on myself. That was a bad idea. That was a horrible idea. So I phoned a friend. I called my camping buddy, which would be my youngest, and they're sick. So then I called my middle daughter and said, I need your help. Come over here. And they came over and we put it on, and it was a pain. So, and none of this, I was trying to just show a picture. Yeah, I was just trying to show the picture of the truck. So technically on this area right here, oh, that's not doing it again. On the top, there's now an awning that will protect me from sun rain and snow and whatever. Anyways, I digress. If you're into camping stuff, make sure you go subscribe to my other channel. I'm, what am I at? I'm at 700. Actually, the other day I did that, and a few people did subscribe. So I'm at 768 subscribers. What do I have on this channel? While we're here, let's just do that. And if you guys didn't notice, I actually got DSD, so I own youtube.com/@DSD. I'm at 47,800. I just find it funny because I got this other channel that I enjoy that it's just like, barely gets any traction, but it's fun. I enjoy it. I digress. I apologize. Let's see. All right. I'm scrolling down. Oh, Wayne says the interview with Angie was the way I found you. Yeah, I miss Angie. If you guys don't know Angie Atkinson, she's was one of the OGs from this niche. And one of the, not the first one that blew up, but I mean, she had a pretty good, she broke 100,000 subscribers and was doing daily shows, and she was really supportive of me. We had actually talked about doing some things, collaborations and stuff that I just wasn't able to take advantage of because of just, life and some of the things that were happening. And then I think she passed, was it last year that she passed away? Or maybe it's over a year, but she just had a medical thing and that was not a good day. So, I know there's a bunch of bigger channels and stuff now, and anyways, I digress. But yeah, glad you found me, Wayne. I'm glad you're here, man. All right, I'm just reading comments. Living Legend says, do I allow open discussion in this chat? Yes, I do. The only caveat is if it just needs to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Respectful topics need to be not horrible, but yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The only thing I say on that for anyone who's still, lingering around on this is if you want to get my attention, your best case is to do @DSD so that I know you're talking to me. Cause a lot of times I read the interaction with you guys. But then sometimes I don't know exactly what's going on. So, anyways. So yeah, absolutely. We have a pretty good group here. It's the channel's 7 years old, and we have only had. I have a couple of. I think I have. Well, the Wise Chat Manager is a moderator. There might be. I don't know if another mod's in here, but for the most part, we very rarely have to moderate and/or kick out people on the Discord or here. But anyways. Tiffany says, working with the lady and the judge was hesitant to sign a restraining order until she mentioned that store. Okay, you guys are talking about a different thing. So I thought you were talking about your thing. I apologize for that. Oh, Old County Road says, remember, I have a small business that was, quote, locked down for nearly 2 years. I'm surprised you weren't considered essential because of your industry. So effectively no income, but got to pay the child support, and trying to get any info from the court at all during said time. Has been able to pay half for the last couple of years, but still not able to really pay myself and everything else. Yeah. It's just the child support thing, and the way they set that is just not right. I think we have a few subscribers or viewers in England, and I was talking with one a few years ago about it, and apparently I think in England or the UK, it's child support's based off of pay. So when you lose your job, it automatically just goes away. I mean, there's not this, thing in the United States where, okay, you pay $1,000, whatever. I'm just going to use a number, $1,000 a month in child support. And then, we lock down and you have no income. Okay, you pay $1,000 a month in child support and we're just going to put it in arrears. And oh, by the way, once you're, a few $1,000s in arrears, now we can, prosecute you for felony child support evading or whatever, and try to basically make you a felon, and or terminate your license, your driver's license, your business license, and stuff like that. So it's just, I was talking with another coaching client that I have who's currently going through this, and he's been a high wage earner. But, since the economy slowed down and everything, his, I'll just throw a number out. Like, maybe he was making, I don't know, like $700,000 a year. And now he's making, I should use a different number. Whatever, like $100,000 a year. And now he's making 50. Well, if you divorce when you're making high numbers and it goes down, kind of like what old Shawnee Rhodes talking about, they don't just automatically say, oh, okay, all right, okay, well, we'll just, we'll re-enter it in the calculator. Oftentimes what they will do is they'll say, okay, well, we'll just put it in arrears and we'll just add $1,000, for that child, $1,000 a month child support. It's $1,000, so you're in behind and you still, and then you owe it. And it's just, it's a trap. It's hard to get out of. So hopefully old Shawnee Road, things will start turning around. Visible Friend says, Duane, get yourself a portable carbon monoxide meter. I do have one. It's not in my truck right now, but I need to. For that heater you got, I want you to be safe. Lee, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I need to get that in there. What he's talking about is, I think the other day I was talking about, I picked up a diesel heater, which is one of those ones that, the, what do you call it? Standalone units you put outside. You duct it in, so I do have a buddy heater, but that thing scares the crap out of me. It's an open flame, every once in a while those things have catastrophic failures. And if it has a catastrophic failure and it's inside a closed area that's, canvas, there's a good chance this whole thing is going to light on fire. So thanks, sir. Appreciate the concern. Tiffany to John says, we really must connect sometime. Oh, you guys are talking about because you guys are in a similar area. Sorry about that. Old Shawnee Rose says, I remember it was such a big deal when you hit 100 subs. Okay. All right. I got to see if I can find that. Let's see. That's interesting. How do I do it? I'm going to go over here and say 100 subs. 7 years ago. There's me with my stupid little grin. I hit 100 subscribers. Oh my God. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, there are definitely some OGs from the channel still hanging out with us. I really do appreciate it, you guys. Laura says, I haven't camped since 2018 when I lived on the road for 6 months, finding friend hopping from New York to VA. Crazy. Does that mean you were traveling, or does that mean you were homeless? What's funny is I would love to be able to do that. I went through this craze a while back where, not a craze, but I was really interested in the whole van life thing. I just couldn't, it's just, they're so damn expensive, and the reality is I had to, we were just talking about child support. I had to make sure that I was, earning and able to pay, and couldn't walk away from my career. So I was kind of trapped with where I am. And on that, I was really, really frustrated about that for a long period of time. The fact that I felt like I was a slave just to be able to pay the X was a incredibly bitter pill to swallow. I finally did. I finally made my peace with that, and was able to take my life back and minimize the impact of that to my mental health. But Laura, I think you should get out there again and do it again. I think you might, if you enjoyed it in 2018, you might still. Let's see. Let's see. Living Legend says, your videos I watched and subbed when I was shocked to I'm not sure what you mean. So, yeah, I think what you're saying is and I've had this a lot where people, when they finally find the channel and it finally gives them answers, right? I mean, it's like you stumble across this and you find someone talking about what feels like your own life. You know, hell, I even had that. I was just talking about this earlier today with somebody. I even had that with one of the exes, or the ex's last ex-boyfriend. You know, he finally found the channel because he thought his ex was making him crazy, and found the channel and was like, you know, sent me a note saying, hey, can you help me? My ex-girlfriend, your ex-wife, is making my life a living hell. The sad part about that is shortly afterwards, he actually passed away. So it was a very tragic situation. Anyways, I digress. Tiffany says at DSD, yes, respectful, like, quote, DSD is the worst, just awful at taking compliments. Yeah, that's probably true. That's funny. Oh, I didn't realize you were off. John said to Tiffany, you have to get back in the Discord. Oh, I do have a Discord server for which is pretty good group of people. I am not on it as much as I would like. You can get to that by, how can you get to that? It used to be in the old days that I used to be able to have buttons, but apparently YouTube has taken them away. So in the video description of every video, there's an invite link for the Discord, and hold on. And you can also, if you go into, I have a store. I didn't know I have a store. That's interesting. Where's the about? There used to be an about. Live, playlist, community, membership. What does store do? Does that? No, I don't have a store. Memberships. Okay, that. You know, YouTube keeps changing things, or maybe it's because it's my thing. Well, okay, never mind. I was going to say there used to be an about page where I had those links, but oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Okay, they put it in the, okay, geez, that is so annoying. All right, let me try it. Let me back up. If you go to the main YouTube page, and then in the top thing where you see me and my little banner, it says links, right? So you got dadssurvivingdivorce.com. It says, and 2 more links. Click there, and now that is the about page where you can see that's the Discord link. If you want to buy me a coffee and you want to do it through PayPal, you can do it right there. If you don't want to do a super chat. Oh, geez. Okay. Sorry. I'm my best best comedian is for myself, I guess. Let's see. Living Legend says, what do you believe in? Not sure what that means. I pay $1,800 and everything else has gone to poverty to pay that. Yeah, I think there was a period of time. Well, whatever. I mean, I guess I don't want to talk about specific numbers, but at the beginning stages of this, I was about ready to start living under my desk at work because I couldn't afford to put gas in the car, couldn't afford electricity, couldn't afford to feed myself, definitely couldn't afford my medication. I stopped all my meds back then. I'm actually surprised sometimes that I'm still here, you know what I mean? Because, anyways, whatever. Tiffany says, Rumors of the church involvement. The local DV task force is investigating when the police give the go. Do you mean against you or do you mean against your ex? Slow chat. Man, Living Legend, I'm having a hard time catching what you're saying. So trying to read through some of this. Not funny. Go. Huh. Not entirely sure what's going on. Maybe I'm missing something. I apologize if something's going wrong. So I was getting comments blocked for razzing somebody. I do have a moderator, so it's possible. I don't see any comments being blocked. Oh, but I will say this. YouTube has this great feature that automatically will moderate comments. I don't know how to check that because they keep changing things, which is kind of annoying. So it's possible, Living Legend, that the system is doing it because, or maybe you have a bad connection. I'm not sure. But I do not see any comments deleted. Normally I would see that if one of the mods are doing it, and I'm not doing it. So anyways, oh, Chris, sir, thank you so much. Let me scroll down to that. Chris said, it's a super sticker, which is the fan character bouncing with their shaped ponytail with stars in their eyes. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for the coffee. I definitely appreciate it. And I just made that comment. Living Legend says, roll with it, my friend, or on this channel, but on YouTube as a whole. Yeah, YouTube is just, and I guess technically, since I've kind of been a little, what am I trying to say? I mean, I just haven't been on as much as I used to, and they keep changing things, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, apparently, I got a notification that said they're completely changing ads. So I'll talk about this for a second. YouTube is completely changing the way ads are done. Now, back in the old days, I would say, okay, run an ad, and I was okay with ads at the beginning, right? Just a normal ad beginning thing, and very rarely would I have it do mid-roll ads. Apparently, YouTube has now decided we're going to do whatever the AI or the machine says that we think is best. So as a result of that, you guys will start seeing across the board on YouTube different ad things. Now, what I do, and I've done this for years because I don't like ads, is I pay for the premium or the YouTube Red, or it was YouTube Red back in the day. I think it's called YouTube Premium now. And what that does is no ads, right? So I don't get any ads. I watch a video. There's no breaks in it. I don't have to worry about, thank God, because I do a lot of those meditation, 3 to 9 hour things at night, or whatever. And I'm sure it would be incredibly jarring if at 2 o'clock in the morning, it was nice meditation, peaceful music, and then it stops and starts, are you having dysfunction in the room? Well, take this little pill and you will be able to have the night that you want to have. I mean, like, what the hell? So, yeah, that's what I've done on that. And I mean, I know it's not cheap, but, anyways, that's what I do. Did I scroll down too far? I may have, because I was trying to figure out, I wanted to highlight Chris's supportive message. I so appreciate that, sir. Hey, Gianni, I just happened to scroll up. You just jumped on. Says, hello, Duane and everyone. Hope you're having a good weekend. I am, sir. I am having a decent weekend. I'm a little sore from the physical workout of attaching that damn awning onto my truck that I didn't understand, and we had to hold it up for a long time trying to figure it out. Jokelman says, yes, YouTube has been changing the UI and some functions. Yeah, I mean, hey, at least it still works. When I saw the notification the other day about the ad thing, big changes to channels for long form videos. I think what it means is, excuse me, I think on these live streams, there is, they're going to start adding mid-roll videos. Actually, to be honest, I saw the other day that they've added a new thing to where I can press a button to run an ad. I don't quite understand what that does. I mean, because it's in my little, my little system of system stuff under YouTube, and there's a button that says play ad. I can do a chat message, which I don't know what that does. Viewers, which shows me how many people are on. Play ad, start, stop stream, and open the dashboard. Hey, I'm going to ask, should I? Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Okay, so live stream latest. Duration, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. I wonder, what would that do if I did it? I'm not going to hit the button, but I'm wondering what that would do. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're doing some really weird stuff. Oh. Okay, I just saw Tiffany's message to my other thing when I wasn't sure what was going on. It said, that's regarding the deletion in my area. Spouse. I'm not even going to read that. It's on the screen. So, and the other person's MIA. Wow. Yeah, these things can definitely be dangerous. Jokelman says to me and to Living Legend, it's all silent, probably a string filter. Hey, Jokelman, you have to give me some more more information on that, because I am absolutely not sure what you're talking about. Living Legend says, I support your channel and the right of men in the United States' justice system. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was a little more. We generally don't get justice in the family court. That's for darn sure. And I apologize for talking while I was trying to drink out of my cup. I'm sure that sounded weird. Oh, interesting. The Wise Chat Manager says, don't try to put an ASCII emoji at the end of a sentence in Chrome. It deletes the whole line and replaces it with the emoji picture. Oh, how interesting. Wow, okay. One for comments, one for chats. Visible Friend says, DSD, you have given us a safe place to rant and a lot of room for healing. I try, I really do. As hard as this is for each of us to go through, you offer real ways to actually cope. Thanks. Well, thanks for saying that. I really try. I mean, sometimes I get comments from people, over the last 7 years, where they're like, you suck. You don't provide good information. But that's what I've always tried to do, is I wanted to provide actionable things that you guys could implement to help take your life back and minimize the damage and the pain. Validation is great. It's super important in all this, but ruminating just about, how you're a victim doesn't move the needle. It doesn't help you take your life back. You have to start doing things. And on that, what I will say, if you go to my homepage, and I'll come back over here, and this first playlist, Mindset for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery, is a collection of videos I put together over the years. I haven't really added many new ones, but that kind of feed on each other to help you deal with this in the early stages. So I probably at some point should re-record all these, but I am not ready to do that. So anyways, 42 people. Thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Living Legend says, I get it. Thank you for helping me. I want a channel. You know what, man? Or for everybody. It's super easy to create a channel. I don't know if I would really encourage you to do this topic. Pick something that you like. Pick something that that is just, fun and not in all this stuff. I mean, unless you really feel pulled to do it. But Old County Road says, my main focus was with my relationship with my girls. We communicate well and talk about everything they want to talk about. Outstanding. Such that the youngest prefers to talk to me than the ex. Yeah, this thing it'll work itself out. Not always, I was just having a conversation with one of my kids earlier where they were telling me about some stuff that was going on, and I'm just like, I don't understand why you guys have chosen to live there. I mean, hey, great. I'm enjoying my peace, but it's like, some of the stories is like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I had to deal with that. I remember 20 years of that. Okay. Living Legend. Old Shawnee Road is an old friend of mine. And maybe I'm taking this out of context, but do not call him a name. Because that will that will irritate me. And if my moderator is on, so Mod, if you're here, if that progresses and I don't see it, please take care of that for me. So the Brave browser. Only the strong survive, says, I've been using the Brave browser for years, so no YouTube ads for me. Oh, I didn't even know. I've never even heard of a Brave. I've never even heard of that. So, anyways. So Joel Kamun says, DSD, a string filter going off a blacklist of words, none of us know what the words are, comments and messages disappear. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I have that. I mean, there are terms I have listed where it automatically does that. All right. Oh, Living Legend. Yeah, you basically called him a creep. So maybe I missed something, or maybe it was out of context. So Laura says, I had to threaten cops with internal affairs and CCRB to get all of my court papers as they tried to withhold reasons for subpoena. Yeah, these whole things is not. Oh, yeah, I see what you said. You said, my ex used dirty cops against me. I can't believe I made it through family court. Yeah, family court is just horrible. And Laura, I'm going to make the assumption that, you're a woman and not a man. If I'm wrong with that, I apologize. But, people oftentimes just say, okay, well, it's bias against, if you're a man, you automatically lose. And I would say proportionally, probably more men get run through the ringer in family court. However, my experience is narcissists in family court, with their ability to live in their own fantasy land with no morals or ethics and remorse for what they say or do, are able to get away with way too much. It's really annoying. Anyways. All right. Let's see. All right. I think I'm going to wrap this up. We've been on for a little over an hour. I was going to use this and it didn't fail. It did not fail. I was fully expecting the camera to freak out. Like I said, I had my backup camera ready in case something happened, but apparently it did not crash. So I am very grateful for that. I don't entirely understand why I'm having problems, so I'll have to figure that one out. But what I was going to say is I initially was only going to do this as a test, but I think that we got a topic that I will go ahead and roll this over into Spotify, into the podcast. So thank you guys. Sign up for the, let me click the button over here. That's not the right one. Let's go forward, down, down, down. Sign up for the text notification at DSD Live, or text DSD Live to the phone number 1-844-598-0012, and you'll be added onto that notification. And when I go live, you will get a Now, again, this only works in the United States. I don't even think it works in Canada, but if you're in the US, you can get a notification whenever I do post a video. Well, I don't do it when I post a video, but when I do go live. I love hanging out with you guys. I love the conversation. It's very helpful. Let's see. John says, DSD Duane, they are teaching courses in college called Toxic Masculinity. And what they learn, they are trying to link to laws to this bizarre, insane world we live in. Men should be very concerned. Yeah, you know what, John? I think the unfortunate reality of what's happening nowadays is it's making it for men to get into relationships very dangerous. You know, maybe if you're like my situation where you're old and you're not going to have more kids, and you know, you're with somebody who has their own career and their own things, maybe the risk is less. But I do not envy any young men or either or. I mean, anybody who's trying to get into a relationship nowadays, because it is just so freaking scary. And, the consequences are really high. I mean, I think we all have experienced this family court nightmare in one way or another. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I think mine started in 2011, into 2011. So what is that? That's 12 years, right? You know, I mean, this has been a devastating experience emotionally, financially. You know, it is been, I mean, as close to a nightmare as you can finally get. Now, in a lot of ways, I'm grateful. I know it's hard. It's kind of a weird thing to say in this, but what I mean is I'm grateful for this experience because it forced me to reevaluate my life, to rebaseline my life, to change my priorities, to change my focus, to determine, you know, where I give my Fs, so to speak. I made a video about that the other day. And that has made my life better. You know, I don't stress the way I used to. I don't, when things happen, I have a more pragmatic approach when I look at it to like, okay, what is the best course of action? I'm not, not that I can't be reactionary. I mean, there are still times where I do react, and most of the times I regret that. But I personally think that because of this nightmarish experience, it has made my life better. Because here's the reality. If this hadn't happened, let's say when everything started blowing up, if my toxic person didn't double, triple, quadruple down, wasn't willing to burn everything to the ground to, because I was dealing with effectively a 10-year-old. And I hate to say this, but in full disclosure, early on, she could have easily said the right magic words, done the right magic deeds, and I would have gone back into my cognitive dissonance, my fog. And what I'm getting at is there's a high probability or possibility that I could possibly still be in that today if I was still alive, right? If it didn't, because she was well on her way to, helping my health deteriorate rapidly. So I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, I don't like the fact that my retirement's ruined, my 401k's ruined, my bank account's been destroyed, partly that's my fault too. But I mean, just financially, I've just been run through the ringer. And I don't have a lot of time to regroup. Like if I would have, maybe if my divorce would have been one of my 30s and child support and everything was done in my 40s. So I had, you know, all of my 40s and now to rebuild, then maybe, you know, I'd be in a better position. But, you know, anyways, I hope you guys don't mind that rant. All right. All right. I think I am going to wrap it up, and I'll hit the thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I do not have a button for my members list, so I have to fix that. So I do want to thank people who have become channel members, who've continued to support the channel over the years, even though I've had some issues with being online all the time. But I do really appreciate that. You guys help keep the lights on, keep me going. Also, just the support from you guys has been really outstanding. I really appreciate it. So on that, have a great rest of your weekend. Hopefully you do something fun. If you want to see something fun, go watch one of my camping videos over at Dusty Road Destinations on YouTube, and I will catch you on the next one.